As a certified ethical hacker, how do you perform a SQL injection attack? Where do you start? Fortunately, there's also a SQL injection methodology. And the methodology, again, is more or less the same as we saw in the previous modules. We perform some kind of reconnaissance. In other words, we try to evaluate input fields. We try to find those locations where we actually have control over some part of the SQL statement. Then we try out characters that are relevant for the underlying database. For instance, the single quote or the double quote. And we see whether we get different results based on the characters that we send to the server. As mentioned before, not all database providers actually support true SQL. Which characters you can use or actually work depend on the underlying database engine. Hopefully we'll get some kind of error message, or at least we try to gather information about the database. And if the application doesn't properly handle errors, we can observe the error messages to find out more about the backend. Then, depending on the exploitation technique, we have profit. In other words, we try to exfiltrate as much data as possible. That can be done using an out-of-band SQL injection attack by using a side channel for output. That can be done using an inferential SQL injection attack, even if we just have one bit of information. And hopefully we can do that using an in-band SQL injection attack, where we actually can use the data channel for all output. And if that all sounds cumbersome, the SQL injection methodology and all the different kinds of attack methods you can do, fortunately you can automate SQL injection attacks. The most widely used tool for that is SQL-map. SQL-map is an open source tool which is perfectly capable of finding SQL injection vulnerabilities and actually exploiting them in a number of database backends. Another example of a tool which can automate SQL injection attacks is Burp Suite. Remember that we mentioned Burp Suite as intercepting proxy server? It has some more tricks up its sleeve, one of them being finding SQL injection vulnerabilities. Another tool I'd like to mention is NoSQL-map. This is a tool specifically designed to find injection vulnerabilities in non-relational or NoSQL databases. In the next clip, let's look at SQL-map in practice, in a demo.